because I knew you were like a gangster out in California, and then you came to Arkansas to get out of that lifestyle. And then that's when I saw the tattoos on your arms.
Right. You know, salespeople get a bad rap, because, well, first of all, everyone thinks that we're lying all the time. And can I just tell you that, like, the best salespeople are the ones that just want to be transparent with you.
You can't recreate sparks like that. We're back with another episode of Stealing from Friends, where we bring on dope folks who do dope stuff. Now, I can recreate sparks.
No, sir. I mean...
So you didn't listen to it at all?
Man, I hate to say this because I don't want it to be taken out of context,
We're
but
gonna
it's
take
almost
it.
like a spiritual experience. People don't come back.
Right.
They just don't. Like, in the absence of relationship, true relationship, they don't come back. Are you recording right now?
Yeah, we're always recording.
Really?
All right, let me get into it, though. All right, so we're back with another episode of Stealing from Friends, where we bring on dope folks who do dope stuff. Now, with this particular dope person, a lot of the times people sleep on what it takes to be a great person. And I'm not just saying this because he's my neighbor and we've been having a lot of break-ins in our area. I'm not saying it because of that, just because he truly is a nice guy. So today's guest is Jonathan Martinez.
Hey, how's it going?
What up? All right, so we've been talking about doing some different intros. Do you think that will work? I'm probably going to do something in post anyway after I know more stuff.
So... Okay, so I didn't know you were about to just
go right into
it. And
absolutely.
What's your format?
So it goes into backstory bio. It goes into a full topic of what we'll be discussing, but you won't feel it. It's gonna be so organic. I'm gonna be like, hey, Jonathan, this is it.
Okay.
This is it. You're feeling it now. And then there's like a secondary subtopic.
Okay.
So
let's do that again. Let's do that again, because then I could be like, thank you, Thomas. I could be a little bit more. I hesitated.
Okay. You can't recreate sparks like that. We're back with another episode of Stealing from Friends, where we bring on dope folks who do dope stuff. Now, I can recreate sparks. But today's guest is a really dope person, and it takes a special type of person to be this dope. And I'm not just saying that because he's our neighbor, nor am I saying that because we haven't having a lot of break-ins and we can't find out who the person is, nor am I saying that because we're both minorities. These are none of the reasons why I feel like I need to give him this much accolades to introduce him today. But for today's guest, it's Jonathan Martinez.
Man, thanks for that.
Pretty good?
Lively introduction.
Yes.
That was a good introduction.
Yes. We call that dividing and conquering.
Yeah.
Is what that is.
Very sparky.
Did you listen to that song that I told you about with old Whitney and the Georgia Mass Choir?
I'm 42 years old, and we were past my bedtime, so I did not listen to it.
Y'all, it was 7:30 when I sent them that song.
It was not 7:30. It was 7:30 Hawaiian time, which means it was about 10:30 our time.
Man, so you didn't listen to it at all?
No, sir. I mean,
I appreciate the honesty because I would respond back with, dude, it was nice.
Man, telling the truth is super important.
Yeah.
So I'd rather just,
Go ahead,
tell you exactly what it is and then take the consequence later.
You know what? That is very honest of you. And speaking of honest, I'm going to go right into it. So tell me a little bit about a bit of your backstory, because I knew you were like a gangster out in California, and then you came to Arkansas to get out of that lifestyle. And then that's when I saw the tattoos on your arms.
Right.
I saw you wore sleeves today.
Yeah.
So kind of tell me exactly kind of what little bit of backstory and kind of what made you are today. Because from initially talking to you, you weren't always this bubbly, nice gentleman, or were you? And you was just behind the gangster lifestyle.
Man, so not a gangster,
Okay.
but certainly had some environmental inputs, so to speak. So, I'm born in Houston, raised in San Jose, California.
San Jose.
Yeah. When we moved out here, I lived 2 miles from Apple Computer.
Like the warehouse? Or I mean like the...
No, like the headquarters of Apple Computer. Like we were just like right around the corner. So that's like Bay Area. That's where we're from.
Is this also Silicon Valley?
Silicon Valley.
Okay,
yes.
dang, okay.
Yes. But my background, or like where I'm coming from, or the story is I'm a guy who grew up like most people. We had.
This is about to be one of those minority stories where we started poor.
No, we're gonna cut this part.
Okay.
Right? We're gonna cut this part.
No, we're not cutting nothing.
So, gosh, how do I get into this? You call me a gangster, but really, I came from like a hard upbringing. You know, I had parents who just made really bad decisions and favored their desires over their family, really. And so I grew up as a foster kid in the foster care system, and graduated high school really just not knowing what I wanted to do. Right. Now I did really, really well in school and went to college, went off to University of San Francisco to study communications.
Yeah.
And I wanted to be a sports writer, actually.
Okay.
So I spent the first year at University of San Francisco writing for the newspaper and just kind of getting into that groove, if you will. The second year, I became like an editor kind of position, but also started playing rugby and decided that I wanted to shift things. So still in communications, but like with a little bit of a teaching kind of vibe or background.
Is this what the editor part is?
Yeah, a little bit. A little bit. But, you know, to kind of get back to kind of where I'm from, you know, like I grew up with 5 other siblings, kind of a big family. And we lived kind of from humble means, you know. There wasn't a lot of money to go around. So when I went to University of San Francisco, I was out there on my own, like student loans, scholarships, and there was a little bit of support. You know, I did have a little bit of help from a program called the Court-Appointed Special Advocates.
Just for minorities?
That is for children who are in the foster care system.
Okay, so this was more of a, you get it because you're a special demographic.
Yeah, like, so it's like, they're called child advocates now, but the idea is like this big brother, big sister program. And so that was kind of like my family moving forward.
But only for foster kids.
Foster kids, group home kids, kids that are, you know, adopted kids.
What about kids who have moms and dads, but they don't even have a big brother? Why are they being left out of this program? I mean, if you're going to think about it, I mean, are we going to exclude everybody out of this?
Well, I wouldn't call it I would call it more of an exclusionary program. Yeah,
absolutely.
I would.
So it's what it is.
Right. It's kind of like, you know, it's kind of like a warranty, right? Like it comes with a certain amount of things, but there's some things that are excluded.
God, man, almost kind of like appealing to the minority is what this is.
Yeah, sure.
It is. But anyway, foster kid, you got all these perks and benefits, so amazing experiences. And keep going.
Well, so, so what were we talking about? We were talking about I was in college, but
you had a program that helped you
move forward a little bit. So college wasn't really what I wanted to do. It was kind of like the escape, right? I did well in high school. Okay, well now I got to go to college because that's what everyone's doing.
Yeah.
So I picked up the guitar when I was 20. And decided that I wanted to live that life. So I started playing music in bars and on beaches. I moved to Santa Barbara.
Is that the dream? Hey, I'm gonna pick up a Spanish guitar, not because he's Hispanic, but that's the only one I know that people would walk around and.
So I wasn't a mariachi. I was like, so at the time, like John Mayer was coming out and becoming really well known, right?
In California,
just all over the world, man. And I was a big Dave Matthews Band fan. In fact,
what's Dave Matthews?
Dave Matthews
for the young folks. I know Dave.
You know Dave. But, so Dave Matthews, for the young folks out there, is, I mean, he's kind of one in a long line of like jam bands, right? So you have like Grateful Dead, you have Fish, you have Dave Matthews Band, and these are guys that they basically came up through touring. And became known for taking a 5-minute song and turning it into a 20-minute song.
Lynyrd
Skynyrd.
Are they in the same vein, or are you just appealing?
They're not in the same.
But they do Freebird for like 30 minutes before it starts.
Right. So that's like their aberration song.
Okay. What about Temptations? They got a 30-minute intro to Poppin' Was a Rolling Stone.
So again, different approach. That's like a
Okay.
one-off thing, right? Whereas like Dave Matthews Band, they were like known for this. So first concert I ever went to, I graduated high school, took my girlfriend to see Dave Matthews Band at Shoreline Amphitheater in Mountain View, California, which is the headquarters of Google. Okay, like right in that
Dang,
area.
okay.
And they played a song called Number 41, and that song is about a 6-minute song on their album. I think it came out on Crash. Well, that song, they turned it into like 17 minutes. So like
Live.
live.
Okay.
Yes. And so you just have to imagine that this band is known for doing this for a lot of their songs. Like that's their thing. Like that's their vibe.
What they're saying is, hey, they pay for us for an hour. We only learned 3 songs because we got pretty wild last night. Let's just have fun with it, guys. Let's just.
Well, so in this generation where everybody's attached to a screen and doesn't have like an attention span, they couldn't handle that concert because it's a 3-hour concert.
What? With just Dave?
Just Dave Matthews Band. They might have an opener, but it's 3 hours. You're easily 2.5 hours.
Well, I mean, if you think about it, it's like going to the movies. Movies are 2 hours sometimes.
That's right.
So.
That's right.
But they're not doing anything fancy. I mean, they're not standing up there like the Beatles and.
Man, I would say that I don't know how to make that comparison.
Are they up there doing Kiss and the hair flinging all over and they're walking around in the one leg? And
No, they're more like it's more of like a. Man, I hate to say this because I don't want it to be taken out of context. But it's almost like a spiritual experience.
This was Burning Man type of music.
Maybe, yes,
Okay.
yeah. I've never been to Burning Man.
Sure.
Never been to Burning Man.
Sure.
Yeah.
I'm not here to judge you.
Hey, listen,
All you said was experience. People always associate experiences with shrooms and.
yeah. So I wouldn't say that.
All I'm saying is this is a safe space here.
It is safe. I feel
We are
space.
stealing from friends, but this is safe here.
Indeed.
All right.
Indeed.
But it will go out to the masses.
It will.
They will judge you, not me.
They are definitely going to judge me, no doubt.
So you end up getting the guitar. You went out there to Santa Barbara. You was like, you know what? I'm going to walk around with my shirt off, walk up and down the sidewalk, and I'm going to make some coins up and down the strip.
Yeah, it's difficult. Becoming a famous musician is work.
You don't say.
Hey, listen, but when you're young and you don't have any understanding of what real work is, and you don't understand the value of just how much it's required to put in to make something, especially starting from basically nothing, and you see famous musicians. We were talking the other day about people being like handpicked, where like they have a support system. When you're just going out there and you're just like trying and failing, you realize very quickly that you have to build a tough skin. You have to be ready for rejection.
Yeah.
And that you have to be ready to put in the work. And back then I wasn't ready to put in that work. And that's okay.
Yeah. It has to be. You didn't do it.
Yeah.
Well,
and I'm using music now for something greater than myself, which is, fantastic. I'm I lead worship.
He's
at
pretty
my church.
goated, y'all. He's pretty goated. He's gonna be modest, but he's pretty goated.
Yeah, so I get to lead worship in my church. It's a privilege and it's a responsibility.
Yeah.
And so now it's not about me. It's about pointing people to Jesus, and that's probably the most important thing I can do. Like more important than what we're doing right now, or what I'm gonna go do after I leave here.
Absolutely, going to take a midday nap so you can be up by 7:30 and go back to bed by 8.
That's right.
I heard that.
That's right.
Now, with you being in music, so you obviously kept the guitar around and you kept dabbling and all that good stuff. And one of the things I wanted to talk about was you kind of moved into a sales field where people either love sales or they hate it.
Yeah.
And they hate it probably because they're not good.
Yeah.
But they probably also hate it because maybe they don't know the right things to either one. To bring someone in, help them understand and all that good things. You were telling me a lot of dope stuff yesterday, but what kind of got you into the sales field? Because communications and sales obviously can go hand in hand.
Yeah. So I've always been drawn to people, right? So I've always been drawn to industries where I can impact people. So like the idea that I might go teach had to do with how I was impacted by educators and how I wanted to give back, right? Now, when I realized that I didn't want to be a teacher and I wanted to play music in front of people, that kind of put me in a position where, okay, I could see myself essentially performing for people, right? And what that led me, all of the failure in trying to become a musician ultimately led me to like service work. So how did I get into sales? Well, I started working at Starbucks and I started working at this place called Iguana's Burritozilla.
Selling the baby snakes, selling the iguanas.
No, like selling a 5-pound 3-tortilla burrito.
Okay.
Buddy of mine, his family owns that business in San Jose, and actually they just opened up a store in San Antonio, Texas.
Are they like sponsored by Big Pharma or something?
No, absolutely not. We don't do that.
I would have. You could imagine why I would ask that, though, right?
Yes.
Okay.
I could.
Why? Why do you think I would ask that?
I don't. Because you ask off the wall questions.
I do, but basically they are enabling, like the guy from TLC or 600-Pound Sisters. He's enabling people to maybe have heartburn.
Well, so interestingly, so it's funny you bring this up, right?
Vegan.
It's funny you bring this up. No, because Joey Chestnut, you've heard of him, right?
No.
Joey Chestnut is known most for being the hot dog eating champion of the world.
Who knows that?
Well, so he's from San Jose, California.
Okay, he's a big deal there, huh?
He's a huge deal, right? So when I was working at Iguanas, he actually would train at Iguanas. And what I mean by this is he would come in and order their medium-sized burrito, which is 2 large tortillas. It's about 2.5, well, it's about 3 pounds worth of burrito. And his training was just to eat one of those as quickly as possible. And he did this once or twice a day.
Yeah.
And this was and so he was going to San Jose State. He'd come in every day. We were right around the corner from San Jose State. He'd literally come in every day. So I'd see this dude multiple times a day or multiple times a week, excuse me. And then he would go to the Nathan's hot dog eating contest on the East Coast and eat 58 hot dogs and to become, the champion. And so are they enabling the 600-pound people? I don't know. They're definitely enabling championship eaters. I can tell you that.
I thought you were going to change that and turn it into championship mindseted people. But you brought it back to food, and this is exactly where I thought that was going to go.
That's right. So I'm working at Iguanas. I'm working at Starbucks. And at Starbucks, I kept getting all these tech people coming up to me while I'm cleaning something or serving them coffee, asking me why I'm not in sales. And I didn't get it. I thought, well, I'm doing what I love and I like the people I work with. So why would I leave? Right. But Serena and I, my wife, Serena, we started dating and then we decided we were going to get married and then start a family. And so when that happened, I realized kind of quickly that Starbucks salary as a store manager just wasn't going to cut it.
Yeah.
So a buddy of mine from church, Brian Plowman, he offered me an opportunity to interview at Acura of Stevens Creek.
Nice.
In Santa Clara, California. And
he's here from California too?
So he's from California. He lives in Idaho now.
Oh, okay.
They left California and he works at like a Hyundai dealership now. But he offered me this opportunity to come interview, and I wanted to do something different. And so I knew nothing about sales other than how to talk to people and have good customer service, right? But the reason why I went there was because I knew somebody, like there was a connection, there was a relationship. I don't think I would have gone there without that. And that kind of leads me to kind of why we're here, is that what I've kind of learned over the last 10 years is that sales is not about the products that you're offering or the pricing of the products or any of that stuff. It's about building relationships.
Yeah.
And so that's kind of how I got my start.
Would you say, and I want you to say this open and honestly, if you don't mind, being in sales there are some industries that are perceived as being sleazy. There are some individuals that could be perceived as not they're not having your best interests in mind. Why do car sales in general get such a bad rap?
So I think it boils down to two things, okay? Untrained salespeople
Yeah.
and somebody that you and I know had a bad experience with an untrained salesperson.
Okay.
So, like, it's your personal experience and then someone else's experience that they tell you about, right? So, I want you to think about this for a second. If you walk into a place and the person that is selling you something, like, oozes that all they want to do is sell you something, and there's so much urgency around that, and they haven't even taken the time to really get to know you,
Dang.
then what happens is that you go into that thinking, man, this doesn't feel good, right? You come away from, you might leave and say, man, I'm just not ready to buy,
Yeah.
right? But really it is you don't feel good. The other thing is that we all live on other people's recommendations, right? Like I might come to you for some advice for like maybe how to start a business because you've started some businesses, right? And you might give me some feedback and some direction, and I'll go with that because I trust you,
Yeah.
because I have a relationship with you, right? And so when your friend comes over and you notice they just bought a car and you say, "Hey, where'd you get that?" They're going to give you one of two stories. They're going to tell you either, "Oh, well, I bought it here, but the experience was terrible. Don't go there."
Yeah.
Right? I made a mistake.
Yeah.
Or they're going to tell you about someone who took the time to get to know them, right? And maybe is trying to build a relationship with them. And so, salespeople get a bad rap, because, well, first of all, everyone thinks that we're lying all the time. And can I just tell you that, like, the best salespeople are the ones that just want to be transparent with you.
Yeah.
But oftentimes we, as consumers, we think that the more questions they're asking us, the more they're trying to deceive us. And I would argue that if your salesperson isn't asking you questions, they probably are deceiving you
Gotcha.
in some way, shape, or form.
Yeah.
But if they're asking you questions that have to do with what you value and why you might consider them, then what they're trying to do is figure out how they can solve your problem, whatever it is that you might need solving.
Based off that one logic, you can almost associate that to any field, whether it's like real estate, being a real estate agent, or selling knives. Did you ever get into that sales where you sell the door-to-door
You
knives?
talking about Cutco?
Cutco, yeah.
Yes, sir. That
Like
is
every college person I know done that. And I didn't know anything about sales initially, but I was like, dang. And you can see some folks who were definitely either took some skills from that and they became better because now they're like great at sales, or they're like, I don't think that's for me.
I tell you what, I lasted 2 weeks with Cutco.
Okay.
But I think it was because I very quickly saw through their training process.
They
Earlier,
do bring you in.
yeah. And they say they're going to train you, but they don't really train you.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know if you've worked for many companies, but having worked for corporate agencies and mom and pop ownership, I can tell you that everyone talks about how they train. We hire and we train and we promote from within. And some,
I'm listening. I'm about to just reply to this text so I can tell this person I'm in a pod.
yeah,
In a pod.
in a pod.
Boom.
I feel like I'm in a pod. Like, I feel like this environment is very pod-like.
Very poddish without the little curved
Yeah.
end.
Do you know at the Google headquarters, they literally have pods for their employees to sit in so that they can rest, think, like literally take a nap. Like, have you heard of this?
I saw it on what's the movie with the two gentlemen? The Intern.
Yes. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
And obviously it's legit because a lot of people are trying to incorporate that stuff.
Yeah. I think employees need time to, like,
Midday naps. Is that what you're about to tell me?
definitely not a midday nap. I'm not into napping, mostly because I'm in a field where I need to be ready. But, like, sometimes I'll take time during the day to intentionally not work for a short period of time, just so I can kind of reset in my day.
Yeah. By doing what? Like just go outside, breathe, and just like pop back and listen to some Oprah Winfrey interviews.
Yeah. So like sales is a mindset, right? And as a human being, we're all susceptible to our minds.
This is it. Remember I was telling you the interview part, the initial part?
Yeah.
This is it. We're in it.
We're in it.
We're in it. Keep
We're
going.
in it.
Sorry.
So like sales is a mindset, man. And so there's times throughout the day where my mind's not right.
Yeah.
Okay. Like, let's just be honest. Like, you've got those moments. I get those moments, right? So if I'm aware of that, I'll get up, I'll walk outside, and I'll just get some fresh air, right? Maybe I'll post something on Facebook, but I'll do something to kind of shift literally physically where I am, and also try to shift where my mind's at.
Yeah.
Because when you walk into the front door of my dealership, or you put in a like an internet lead, and now you're in the digital showroom, you deserve the best part of me, right? And so that's what people get wrong in the sales industry, is that they don't understand just how important my energy is if you're walking into my dealership, right? And this is where the training comes in, and this is why when you walk into a dealership or a place where you're trying to do business where they're selling you something and it doesn't feel good, it's because the person that's trying to sell you it doesn't have their mind right.
Yeah.
Right. And they don't have their motivations right. They don't have their checklist ready to go so that they can support you in whatever it is that you're trying to solve.
Do you think some dealerships just put more training into others? Because we'll go to some dealerships, like when I was younger, we'd go to a used car dealership, and you see these folks almost kind of like Usain Bolting out the door. Hey, man, you trying to buy a builded? I don't know, like just randomly. They I was like, dang, dude, I stopped here because I need to change my tire. So,
Sure.
But then you come into some other place. Obviously, at this point, we know who we're gonna go there and see because obviously out of recommendation or whoever the case may be. But I know, and I'll talk for y'all. I got you. Why some folks be running out the, and I'm using that obviously exaggeratingly.
Yeah.
But without even coming up to the, hey, can I help you with anything? Have you anything?
Okay. So it's two reasons.
Take us behind the door. What's happening?
So here's the first thing, and I'm gonna start with the positive. Okay? The positive is that you literally have people who you're fortunate enough to hire who have that kind of energy. Okay. That like that's in their DNA.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, the people that you're referring to are the people who are that kind of go back to what we're talking about. They're untrained. They're working on commission. By the way, I've been full commission for 10 years. Okay.
Oh, you got it then.
But they're working on commission, and that's all they're thinking about is I need to make the next sale.
Yeah.
And so they are not seeing you as a person, they're seeing you as a paycheck. And there's like aggression in sales is important, but measured aggression is what wins.
Can you explain that? What is that?
Yeah. So it's the difference between me walking up to you and sticking out my hand and trying to shake your hand before I've even gotten the agreement that we're about to have a conversation.
Okay. Can you explain that one? So would it be like, I'm Thomas? Or like, is that how it is? Or?
It would be more like if I said, "Hey, how's it going? I'm Jonathan. Very nice to meet you. And your name is?"
So this is overly aggressive. Is that
overly aggressive.
Okay.
See, like the thing is salespeople are told in one instance to be aggressive, talk to as many people as possible.
It's a numbers game.
It's a numbers game, right? But oftentimes where the training lacks is how to do that, right? And so like the first example I gave you where the salesperson is excited and bubbly and this, that, and the other, like you don't have to teach that. And so therefore he can go outside and make a genuine connection with you where he's not going to even ask you what your name is until he knows maybe 5 or 10 things about you, you know? And also like if you say, I'm just here to change my tires, he doesn't skip a beat.
Yeah.
Like he's not unexcited about you being there. He's not thinking about how can I get out of this because this guy's not buying a car or a motorcycle from me now today. They know immediately if the person who welcomed them in is someone they want to deal with. And so you have to be different than what their expectation is. And look, let me can I say something here? Can I
Yeah.
like preface
Absolutely.
what I'm about to say? Because it goes to this right here, okay? Like some of what I'm gonna say is stolen from people who have come before me.
For sure.
People who've invested in me, people who I've in some way, shape, or form paid for training. And so like none of what I'm saying is new,
Right.
but people don't take it seriously. The average salesperson doesn't take what I'm saying seriously because it requires work. Like if we go back to me going out there and like playing open mics and trying to become a musician, I didn't know what any of the work looked like.
Yeah.
I just thought if I was good enough, then people like I'd get signed or I'd make a record. And like the reality is that there's a lot of talented people in every industry. And so like you have to have a formula, a format, and a way of like checking and balancing what it is you're doing or checking and adjusting what you're doing so that you can go from great to effective and almost like what you do is on autopilot. So like a lot of what I'm saying is because I have repeated these behaviors over and over, or I've taught them over and over.
Yeah.
And so like I want to give a shout out real quick to guys like Ben Vanderheel. You're not going to know any of these people.
I know Ben Shapiro.
You know Ben Shapiro. Guy like Gil Valverde, he was a sales manager at San Jose Harley Davidson. Mike Rayla, you do know him.
I do know Mike.
Mike Rayla, probably one of the best closers I've ever been around. And
we got to have a whole nother conversation about sales. But
we
go ahead.
We
I'm
could,
listening. Yeah.
but like, here's the thing. Like his whole thing was that you can't be successful if you can't have a repeatable routine. And he really drilled that and instilled that in me.
Yeah.
Like the last 5.5 years working with that guy, before my current role at Mercedes-Benz of Little Rock, like that guy was all about process. And not that other people weren't, but like he's like almost like a robot, like an AI.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
In regards to boot.
You have to have a process. If you don't have a process, you fail. And so like the reason I want to give a shout out or give credit where credit's due is because everything that I talk about or everything that I do in my daily sales walk or everything that I might teach as a leader, because I've been in those roles and I'm still in that role today. Like I think you can lead across, you can lead down, you can lead up, comes from someone else who invested in me. So shout out to those people. There's plenty more. Alex Sitkowitz, JT Tran.
These folks all have some hard last names. Where are these folks from?
Man, some are from California. Some are from Tennessee.
God bless.
Some are from Louisiana.
some
Joel
names on
Britt. Man, these are some really good people, man. And so, I just want to give a shout out to them real quick. But Terrence Billups, if you get to watch this, bro, miss you, love you. Man,
We'll just clip it so you can just hand it to him.
Yeah. we will. He sends me stuff all the time. Him and I ran finance over at San Jose Harley Davidson, and he knew a lot about sales training.
Yeah.
And so it's funny when you get into these different roles in sales, like you're still selling and you're still doing the same thing you did when you were in frontline sales.
Why does it always feel like now that I'm not actively in recruiting, I'm still advocating for folks to, like, if folks ask about the military or something, obviously they come to me and it feels freeing almost to just give the information. And then when I knew I was leaving recruiting and going into marketing, the process of sales was just so much easier, not because I didn't give a care, but I feel like I got even more transparent. Like, hey, man, I want, or the kid would say, hey, my family sucks. My girlfriend's leaving me. My dog got hit by a trailer and my gerbil got rabies. I'm not going to tell you to stay here. You don't need to be here. You probably need to go active duty. You probably need to go away. And that was way easier to say as opposed to the car salesman coming up saying, hey, bro, you ready to join the guard now? Here's sign this contract. Let's go ahead and do this. Why did that feel freeing there toward the end?
Well, so it's funny that you say that. I mean, it's like a country song, what you just described. But why is because the car salesman and this is going back to untrained salespeople, he feels desperate, right? And he feels like he has to have a sale in that moment. And I'm going to be honest with you, the most sales I've ever made, or like the most success I've ever seen, is when I truly have only cared about the relationship I'm building with the person. And when I know for a fact that I really don't need the sale, and I don't want people to think that that means I don't want to sell.
For sure.
Like, what it means is that, like, I understand that if it doesn't work for somebody, that I'm still going to be okay, and so are they. And also, I can point them in a direction to where they can still find value, and then they will still remember to talk about me later on.
Heck yeah. So even if they decide to go to Mercedes, and maybe they want a Mercedes because, I don't know, they watch Selling Sunset. I'm going to address real estate agents here.
Okay.
They're watching Selling Sunset, and they're like, you know what? I want to live that brand, as opposed to the Warren Buffett that drives like a 97 Honda Civic or something.
Sure.
Chill. But they say, hey, that's the route I want to go. But then after getting there, you ask a series of questions to understand, right? I'm trying to make sure I'm finding the pieces here.
Yeah.
You're asking them a series of questions, and then you may realize that, oh, you're driving, I don't know, 5,000 miles a month. You may not need a Mercedes. You may need a Honda or a Hyundai Elantra for gas miles or something like that. So knowing that you can't sell them that directly, you are completely fine with saying, hey, I'm going to be honest with you. You probably need to go over there and get that type of vehicle based off what you told me.
So I will say that it's not a straight line from X to Y or X to Z, okay? The Y is there something else that we have that isn't a Mercedes or isn't what you thought that you wanted to buy that I can offer, okay? There's a lot of statistics out there, right? So I'm not going to give you a statistic, but I'll say this. Majority of people who come into a dealership don't buy what they thought they were coming in to buy.
Why is that?
Because, well, there's a lot of reasons, but oftentimes people don't know what they don't know, okay? A lot of times people will see an advertisement and say, oh, I want that.
Yeah.
Okay? And when they come in, then you discover that they saw doesn't actually match what they need.
Okay, so how y'all have the 0% APR for...
So no, I'm not talking
months.
about that.
Okay.
That part, because see, so the money part handles itself. Okay, like if you qualify for 0%, then you're gonna get 0%.
Got you.
You know what I mean? If you qualify for no money down, you get no money down. Okay, but like none of the money stuff matters if what we're buying doesn't work, right? So the through line is you came in on X. I found out that X either does work for you or we need to go to Y. And if Y doesn't solve your problem, then until you get to Z or back to X or Y, because sometimes things change, right? I'm gonna continue to prospect for what it is that could fit your wants and needs. And in the meantime, I might give you a recommendation to go somewhere else. Now, I won't say that I'm gonna talk to a prospect and within 10 minutes be recommending them go somewhere else. Okay. But what I am saying is that I'm open to my product not being what they want.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And oftentimes what you find in telling people that you're okay with them not doing business is they end up doing business with you.
Yeah, exactly. And that's the part, that was the part I was referring to in the Army side. Like when I was just, hey, and I always used to say the phrase, whether you join or not, now, obviously, I'm not on commission, but I always say, hey, whether you join or not, I get paid on the 1st and 15th either way. So I just want to make sure you have the information. And at this point, you feel better about it. They have, there's no, what's that feeling of like pressure?
Yeah.
There's no pressure from them to feel like, oh, I got to make a decision right now. And they feel like they can just, now you're more of a resource of information. And, hey, Jonathan, I was thinking about doing this. What do you think about that?
Yeah.
And it just makes you have a better relationship with the person. So I still want to do that role play though. So I'm walking to the door, ring wrong, because this is for folks coming to buy cars. And so I'm coming in and I want you to do it from an experience of what they should expect or what a great experience should be. Because if I come in, I'm saying, Jonathan, I want that car. why don't you just go ahead and sell me the car as opposed to doing all the rapport building and stuff?
Just the selling part?
Mm-hmm.
See, but the selling part doesn't happen without the rapport. So let me explain this, okay? Like if unless you have gone to at least 1 or 2 dealerships, and maybe you've gone to 3 or 4, right? And usually if you've gone to that many, you're having some bad experiences. And so you're at that point where you're done.
Yeah.
Like you're done shopping. If you and I don't build rapport, I'm not selling you nothing. Like you're going to continue to skip through. So like, I know you wanted to skip that for the purposes of the podcast, right? But the selling doesn't happen on the piece of paper.
Yeah.
It really doesn't. It happens earlier in the process where you realize that the thing I care the most about is understanding what your wants and needs are. In the absence of information, there's no sale. Now, you might come in and have figured out all of the things, but I still need to be smart enough to know what those things are.
Yeah.
Smart enough to ask you
Okay.
what those things are. So let me give you an example of like maybe like a sale that just recently happened for me where the customer wanted something to be fixed on the car. And what do you normally get like from the dealership when you want something fixed from the dealership? What do you think they say?
Hang tight. Let me look it up. Let me talk to sales, or let me talk to parts. I don't know.
Or let me talk to my manager,
Yeah,
maybe.
yeah.
Or like, or even the promise, oh yeah, we'll fix that, right? You see where I'm going right now?
Yeah.
Okay, so what we did is we said, okay, number 1, the car's under warranty. Number 2, we're gonna fix it. Number 3, while you're waiting for that solution, we're gonna make it comfortable for you to do business. So here's a car for you to drive while you buy this thing that's getting fixed. How does that sound?
Ooh, yeah, makes me feel good.
Makes you feel good.
Warm. Yeah,
right?
Yeah.
And it's a genuine solution. It's not smoke and mirrors, right? Because the reality is this person's trading in a vehicle, so they're not going to have a vehicle, so they need a vehicle. Okay? Now, nobody needs a Mercedes-Benz, but people that can afford a Mercedes-Benz needs a Mercedes-Benz.
Yeah.
Okay? So we got to make sure that that they're driving something in the interim with the promise on paper that we're going to fix something, right?
Got you.
That's where the selling comes in, right?
Yeah.
Because that person, we could have let them do what they wanted to do, which was when the vehicle's fixed, we'll come back and buy it. Okay?
Okay.
People don't come back.
Right.
They just don't. Like in the absence of relationship, true relationship, they don't come back. Like,
and why is that though? Because you haven't built the rapport. No, it's not rapport. I gave you the wrong answer.
no, it's not that you haven't built rapport. It's just that people see value in you providing a solution in a timely fashion. Okay? People see value in like they will decide, okay, is this worth my time or not? And will I pay for what they're offering? Right? And so let me phrase this a little bit differently. So if the customer leaves and we say we're going to fix it, and then it takes a little bit longer to fix than what's comfortable for the customer, they're not coming back.
Got you.
But if we mitigate the time that it might take for that thing to get fixed,
Get it out of their head.
then it's out of their head, right? So now they're driving around a car that's actually a little bit nicer than the one they bought, although they bought a very nice car.
For sure.
Okay? And now they're not worried about it. It's taken care of. They can use their time. These are business owners that I'm talking about, and they can use their time to go and do what they do best, which is serve their clients.
This is service after the service. Or they bought the car and now there was a problem with it and y'all still said, yeah, bring it back. We'll do our thing.
No, the car is sitting at the dealership. They're driving one of our cars.
Tracking. Okay.
Yeah. And they're good. And they're small business owners. They get to, there's no interruption in their time frame. There's no interruption in their workflow. So I didn't provide them like the best price or like the number one anything. What I provided them was I gave them their time.
Yep.
Because when they come back, what they're going to do is they're going to hand me a key to a loaner. I'm going to hand them a key to a vehicle that doesn't have any problems.
Has to be done.
And they don't have to like sit around wait for the dealership to finish the paperwork.
Yeah.
We already did that ahead of time.
There's 3 things I want to ask you about.
Okay.
And I don't want you to give me no fluff.
Okay.
I'm going to start back and I'm going to work my way forward. What is this about? Let me go talk to the people and see about that. What is that process when an individual signs? So imagine anybody, they're getting ready to sign something. Maybe there's negotiating happening because sales, you can always negotiate or whatever, or I don't know what it is. But let me go talk to somebody. What's actually happening behind the scenes? Do y'all be back there drinking coffee?
Man, I knew
and
you were gonna ask
y'all
this,
y'all
right?
back there eating chips and
So,
popcorn, and you're like,
man.
let me see what we get.
So I'm sure you've seen. So there's a lot of guys that are on like Instagram Reels.
This is exactly where I'm pulling this from. Yes.
And they're. I see their value in what they're doing. Right, they're kind of making a joke about what untrained bad salespeople do.
Okay.
Okay, and that doesn't mean that I'm not going and grabbing a bite of my lunch because you know what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Like I don't want to. Like
You're not gonna eat your Subway in my face.
Yeah, I'm just not gonna eat in front of you, but like it is 11:30 and I'm hungry. Okay, and here's the cool thing, right? Like if you treat people well, like you can say, hey, I'm gonna go grab a bite of that real quick. And but I've always first said, hey, can I make sure that you have lunch? Okay, serious. Like I'll go to Chick-fil-A and get you something right now.
Yeah.
Okay. But what's going on, to answer your question, right? Because there's a bunch of guys, Russ Flips Whips, and all these other guys that are exposing the industry, right? And teaching people how to buy.
Yeah.
And what I would want to inform people on is that when we're going back there, we're having genuine conversations with our managers. And oftentimes what we're trying to do is play this game of telephone. And the better you play the game of telephone, the easier it is for your customer to buy. Okay.
Explain that.
Okay. So you were asking for a role play earlier. So let's pretend real quick. Okay. You ready?
Yeah, I'm ready.
All right. So, hey, Mr. Thomas, the vehicle is exactly what you wanted, correct?
Yeah, it looks
All
all
right.
right. Yeah.
Earlier, you mentioned to me that you wanted to go 0 down, short term, best interest rate, right?
For sure.
Great. So we have everything here on this piece of paper. It shows where your payment is with the no money down and the short term. Does that look okay to you?
That looks okay to me.
Okay. Great. So you're doing a horrible job of giving me an objection, but that's okay.
Oh, well, I didn't know which. Okay.
Yeah, my
Oh,
bad.
No, you're fine.
So give me the objection, right?
Okay,
The payment's
absolutely.
$600 a month.
Woo, Jonathan, that's a little bit more than what I was wanting to do, man. I'm gonna be honest with you.
I understand, man. You know, earlier when you first came in, you told me that your budget was like 500, really no more than 500.
Give or take.
But earlier when we were talking, you mentioned to me that these 3 things were important, okay? And so the way the vehicle is equipped is if we remove one of those things, I can get you to the 500, but you told me that you value those 3 things. I can get you the vehicle with only 2 of the 3 things, but you said it was important, right? So what would you rather have? The payment be lower, but with less items, or the things that you value and have this type of payment?
That's pretty good, Jonathan. That's pretty good. But go ahead.
No, go ahead. No, we're still in the role play.
I want my cake and I want to eat it.
You want your cake and you want to eat it.
Yes.
So, hey, I understand. Look, I have been doing this just long enough, okay, to know that $100 in payment is a lot of money off the car, okay?
Okay.
It's roughly speaking, it's about $6,000 if I had to make a guess, okay? So the reason I bring that up is because we just don't have that type of markup in the vehicle. But it doesn't mean we can't make a deal, okay?
Let's make a deal then.
So let's make a deal. Now, we're going to pause for a second.
Okay.
This is where a lot salespeople will just ask you to meet in the middle, okay?
Okay. What would that look like if they're saying like give me an example, like what does that look like, meet in the middle? 600, but I want 5, they say 550?
Yeah.
Okay.
Right? So I'm going to do some form of meet in the middle, because the reality is usually you're coming in on a vehicle that maybe already has a little bit of a discount. I don't know if you've been vehicle shopping lately, but if you're looking at a new car, a lot of vehicles are discounted already.
Okay.
Okay, like we have a select few vehicles on our website right now that show a discount. Okay,
Gotcha.
And so oftentimes what that is it's time for that vehicle to go. So we're giving you a price where we're ready to move it. Okay,
Yeah.
So if anything, man, we're maybe talking hundreds of dollars at this point.
Okay.
Okay, but I'm still gonna try to gain your agreement on what you would pay for the vehicle
Got you.
on a payment.
Got you.
So when I go to my manager,
This is you going to the back now.
now I'm going to go to the manager. And what I have to do is tell the manager, hey, this is what the customer wanted. This is where we got. Where can we be?
Why do I feel like when you go to the back, it's like that all black room, like on Deal or No Deal? Why do I feel like they're looking down at me? And you're
Well,
going up?
because some of the sales towers are literally
Okay.
towers, right? Like you go to the sales tower and the GSM's like sitting up top,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
And he's looking down at you.
Yeah, look at you selling.
Yeah. You remember when you came and bought your Harley Davidson?
There was no tall tower.
There was no tall tower. In fact, I was sitting lower than you.
If anything, I said, get up out the seat and greet me.
That's right.
Build some rapport, please.
Build some rapport.
You know?
Yeah. No, so you go back to the manager, and the important thing is, and this is why we got to listen to our customers. Salespeople, listen to your customers, because if you don't, then when you go back to the tower to go talk to the sales manager, you can't tell them the story of your customer, and you can't sell them on the idea of doing business with your customer where they want to be met.
So if I have a good, heartfelt story, I get a better deal?
If you have a good salesperson, you will get a deal that is fair for you and fair for the dealership. Every customer deserves a good salesperson.
Mm-hmm.
That doesn't mean the guy that that like quote unquote gets you the best price. Man, if we're talking about a new car, I don't know if you know this, but every new car everywhere in the country, it costs the same. Okay?
Okay.
Like a Mercedes here costs the same in California. Like
Oh,
to
dang.
the
Okay.
dealership. There's no difference. Now, if we're talking used cars, completely separate issue.
Okay.
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 Because there's variables that has to do with how much the vehicle, how much they paid for the vehicle.
Mm-hmm.
But every dealership has the same invoice on the same spec every time.
Ooh, okay.
Okay.
If I want you to unravel the curtain here real quick on this question. If I'm coming in with a car that I know I want to trade in, I saw on TikTok that I say this is what I want to do first. I'm presented with the offer, and then I blam, I want to do a trade in.
So, man, I don't
Be honest
I
with
don't-
me.
I don't like this approach. And I don't know if this is one of the three questions that you had for me.
Yes, this is one of the
Okay.
three. Yes.
So here's the thing. Like, all you're doing is actually making your experience worse.
Okay.
Okay. Because what they're teaching people is how to get the lowest price. Okay. But the lowest price on something doesn't mean the best value. It doesn't mean the best solution. And it certainly doesn't mean the best experience.
Yeah.
Like, if you want the best experience, then be transparent. Like, if you want your salesperson to be honest with you, like, what do you got to do, man?
Just ask.
You got to be honest with them,
Yeah.
right? It's the golden rule. Treat people the way you want to be treated, right? So if like you're sitting with a card in your back pocket that you're waiting to pull out at the end,
spade.
what you probably don't realize is that you're inviting that same thing to happen to you. That's how I feel
For
about
sure.
it.
Yeah, I can see that.
On my end of the spectrum, my whole goal is to be as transparent with you as possible so you can make a decision. I don't want to make the decision for you.
Yeah.
That's the worst place I could be,
Dang.
is making the decision for you.
We don't want that.
What's the third thing?
The third
I'm
thing,
excited about
the
this.
third thing
You got me
is
excited.
if you're gonna buy a car from anybody, you buy that thing in December.
So there's a little bit of truth here.
Okay.
Okay. But the best dealerships sell like every day is December 31st.
They sell every day as if it's December 31st.
Yes.
Okay.
So the reason why there's truth in this for majority of manufacturers is a lot of manufacturers they've probably already started next year's production.
Okay.
But there's some things that happen at the end of the year where they need to hit some numbers, okay? Sometimes you'll hear, hey, end of the month, we got to hit this number. End of the year, we got to hit this number. And there's truth in that, okay?
Yeah.
The dealership exists to sell vehicles, to service vehicles, to sell parts, okay? Let's not make any bones about it.
Correct.
Okay? Just as the same thing goes for the real estate industry, right? You're there to sell a home and support your family, okay? And so
We're not in the game of nonprofit here.
it's not a nonprofit, And so the reality is this goes back to like that symbiotic relationship, right? Where we're going to both give each other a little bit, right? So I'm going to give you a great experience and I'm going to be transparent, and you're going to allow me to sell you a solution that allows me to support my family, right? And so now if you want the best deal, then you have to go into the dealership saying, hey, I'm not ready to buy, or I'm ready to buy. Like, you have to tell us up front.
Just say that.
Just say that.
Yeah.
You know, and then what I'll do is I'll figure out if you're really not ready to buy, and how to maybe roadmap what that looks like for you. If you are ready to buy, and most people don't come in saying they're ready to buy.
Correct.
Let's keep it real.
No doubt.
Okay? But if you are ready to buy,
But Jonathan does like honesty, guys.
then don't play the game.
Okay.
Don't pull the trade out at the end. Because the reality is we can package things up in a way for everything to make sense and make it quick for you.
Yeah.
Like, people value time. I want you out of the dealership as quick as possible, not because I don't care about you, but because you have other things to do than buy a car.
Ooh, that's good. That's good. I'm gonna be honest, y'all. With all the things that Jonathan is fascinated about, whether it's tech, that's gonna be another conversation. Sales. I actually got two other guys. We're gonna do a round table thing here, not real quick, but later. I kind of want to get you back to do that round table with other folks in just different sales industries, because sometimes, because I have a buddy who his job was in sales, but he had a pretty unique job where he would go and they do crime side cleanup.
Wow.
And honestly, like, so-and-so just unalived themselves in a living room or something. Now the corners, after they're done and left, these guys now come in on the back end talking to the grieving folks, and it's really rough, the training that they go. He's a great salesman now. He's in recruiting, but that training that they go through is really aggressive, but almost from kind of an intimidation standpoint. Like, hey, you gotta have this cleaned up by 12 o'clock, man. You can go ahead and buy it now. Be $20,000. Blah 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 blah. And like, their head is not even in this space. And you're talking about, now I gotta clean up the remains. It's rough, but I love hearing just different perspectives about sales. But for folks that maybe they was like, you know what, that Jonathan, he's a pretty decent lad. I don't know, maybe they're from England. I don't know. I would like to go and chat with him, or I would like to connect with him, or I would love to go up there and just see. Maybe he is the person I would like to have an experience with for my next buying process. What does that look like? What do you usually have folks do?
So you can find me on Facebook, Jonathan Martinez. I don't even know if Facebook has handles like Instagram. Do they have handles?
It does, but a lot of people don't know what it is. Maybe it was by default, but I changed mine.
Yeah, so I don't even know what mine is. What I do know is my Instagram is at jmartino5920. I need to change that.
Yeah, you need to do something associated with the
that.
thing that you do.
Yeah.
You don't have to make it Jonathan Mercedes-Benz and anything like that.
Yeah.
But this content that we're pushing, you need to lead some folks somewhere.
Well, and that's why I want to, partner with people of your generation, because you guys have this. Like, I came in at the beginning of tech, before tech was tech right now.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And just like any old guy, you don't.
You're definitely ahead of the times when it comes to understanding tech. So
no doubt, I'm definitely ahead. But I will say, I was talking to you the other day about leveraging social media, and that's one thing. That's an area where I have a huge opportunity. So you can find me on Facebook. You can find me on Instagram. Listen, you can just call me 408-401-20.
You don't have to look at me. You
89.
Just go right to the camera.
Right to the camera.
Yeah.
408-401-2089. You can find me on Facebook or Instagram. You can come into the dealership at Mercedes-Benz of Little Rock on 8 Colonel Glenn Plaza Drive.
You're doing great.
And just ask for me.
Yeah.
There's a lady up front. Her name is Tracy. She's sunshine if you've ever met sunshine in a person, okay?
We have a Miss Tracy that's sunshine, Miss Carla up top.
Absolutely. And you just ask for me, and I'll be at the dealership every day except Thursdays and Sundays. Those are my days off.
Heard that.
And if you come into the dealership and ask for me, I'm going to give you a great experience.
You do.
That's the bottom line, is your experience. People don't buy cars, they buy experiences.
Yeah.
Okay? And a lot of times a car is a need, and so we just want the we just want the experience to be quick and easy. Well, guess what? I want it to be quick and easy too.
Absolutely.
And so
you can go to Chick-fil-A or something afterwards.
It's my pleasure.
No doubt.
Yeah, it really is my pleasure, to do business with folks.
And keep in mind, he lives right across the street from me. So if you can't get in touch with him, you get in touch with me, and I'll make sure you get in touch with him. But here's the thing, guys. I want you guys to remember one thing. Hold on, because Edwin's calling me. Hey, Edwin, give me 2 seconds. I'm about to finish up this podcast outro. 1 second. So that's another thing. Hold on. Dang it, Edwin, get me off. All right, so that's the last episode. Jesus. All right. That's been another episode of Stealing from Friends, and usually I have a better way to outro this, but with so many moving parts, got a little bit flustered. So, here we go. Nope, found it.
You got it?
I found it. So when it comes to stealing, there's so many folks you can steal from. I mean, you can think of like somebody stole your childhood and you became a foster child. You remember
That's right.
that? You know?
I did remember that.
You know what I'm saying? I don't know if you remember it, but the best people to steal from, believe it or not, you come in closer and listen to this. It's going to be your friends. Why? Because they're right there, they're close, and they're right there in your back pocket. Or your neighbors. This isn't called stealing from neighbors, but take from your friends and or allow me to take from them, and we'll get you that info. All right, y'all. Make sure you like, subscribe, do all the things you're supposed to do on social media, and I'll see you later. Peace. You're supposed to say peace.
Hey, guys.
Okay.
To whoever may need this nugget of encouragement, things will be alright, so quit your worrying. I get it, the odds can stack back against the wall, but even consider it such, no, you'll stand tall.